Hello, my name is Caitlin Huynh, and I will debate why net neutrality is unnecessary and shouldn't be brought back. Before I talk about why it is unnecessary, some information about net neutrality is that it consists of internet regulation to ensure all online content is accessible to all internet users without discrimination or favoritism towards any website or service. Net neutrality was first established in 2015 when Obama was in office, but under President Donald Trump, the FCC reversed itself by repealing its net neutrality rules in 2018. The FCC officially reinstated the net neutrality rules on April 25, 2024, with a 3-2 vote. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit struck down the FCC net neutrality rules on January 2nd, 2025. The court reasoned that the FCC lacked the authority to reinstate rules that prevented broadband providers from slowing or blocking access to internet content. Net neutrality has been portrayed as a shield protecting a free and open internet. Its absence has actually allowed for innovation, investments, and progress. Net neutrality has not been around for that long in America. In the past, we still thrived and had no problems when net neutrality wasn't established yet. After net neutrality was repealed, there was no drastic changes either, and allowed internet service companies such as AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, etc. to make better internet changes for society and for investment. When net neutrality was around, the US did see broadband investments slow by more than $5.5 billion, which is a lot of money. Due to investment slowing down, the internet service companies would be slower to produce more advancements due to insufficient revenue. Since the regulatory constraints can discourage investments in network infrastructure and technological advancements. When net neutrality was repealed, internet providers quickly started providing Americans with faster speeds and lower prices, based on an article from Americans for Prosperity. Without net neutrality, then people will have better and faster internet for cheaper prices than when net neutrality was around. An argument where it is said that net neutrality is needed is about fair pricing. Net neutrality supporters argue that it ensures everyone pays the same amount for their internet services. This ignores a crucial factor, which is data consumption. As the article from Design Rush points out, social media platforms use far fewer resources and less bandwidth than services like Netflix or YouTube. With net neutrality in place, everyone ends up paying the same price regardless of how much data they actually consume. This means that heavy data users are subsidized by those who consume far less. The solution to this imbalance is not government regulations, but allowing ISPs the flexibility to charge businesses for their bandwidth uses. While net neutrality does have some pros, there's more bad than good to the regulations. Based on the Britannica article, the Telecommunications Act of 1996 emphasized that the internet should remain unfettered by excessive government regulations, but net neutrality did exactly the opposite, imposing significant reporting requirements and costs on ISPs, which is internet service providers. For example, the ISP CenturyLink estimated that median net neutrality's reporting demands created over 5,000 hours of additional paperwork, costing more than $134,000 per year. Since it cost internet service providers more money to do the regulations paperwork, then it starts to affect consumers, since then it would cost higher prices and slower services. Net neutrality was not just in America. Europe implemented their own version of net neutrality in 2015. Over COVID years, the EU internet regulators began requesting that companies like YouTube and Netflix downgrade the streaming quality to prevent a broader collapse of the EU's internet. Due to net neutrality, Europe had slower internet speeds when the internet was the most used during COVID times, since everyone was in quarantine. It could have caused people problems, since during COVID, everyone was at home doing work or keeping it occupied in their houses. Without fast internet, then it would cause people problems with work and keeping themselves not bored. In America, though, when net neutrality was gone during COVID times, the internet worked very well. According to the article by Americans for Prosperity, despite increased demand for internet, they began offering free service, unlimited monthly data, and faster speeds to help low-income Americans who were working and learning remotely. Having known that neutrality helped America get through the pandemic just fine and even helped lots of people with the low prices of fast internet. Beyond the economic and infrastructure concerns, net neutrality also raises issues of government overreach. Critics argue that net neutrality could empower the government and censor online content. While net neutrality regulations were designed to prevent ISPs from blocking or throttling content, they could also create an opening for government intervention in how the internet is governed. According to Design Rush articles, the government could use net neutrality to deem certain types of traffic as undesirable and inappropriate and append or block that kind of traffic. ISPs had more control over how they manage online content without net neutrality, which could lead to better moderation of illegal, offensive, or harmful material. While they're all concerned about censorship, it is important to recognize that the marketplace of ideas should be allowed to thrive without government overreach. The concern here is that net neutrality could give too much power to both ISPs and government bodies to dictate what content is allowed or restricted. Now, understand that net neutrality advocates may be concerned about the possibility of large ISPs engaging in unfair practices, but let's remember we've had decades of experience with broadband ISPs under a light touch regulatory framework, and there was little evidence of wrongdoing. As economist Gerald Faulhaber argues, we have had a decade of experience with broadband ISPs with little evidence of wrongdoing. Even large ISPs have stated that they remain committed to an open internet and will not block, throttle, or impair online activity when net neutrality regulations are removed. This is a testament that the internet has functioned just fine without heavy handed regulations. That is all what I have today about why net neutrality is unnecessary and shouldn't be brought back. Thank you.